はい。レコードします。お、はい。こんにちは、皆さん。このプロジェクトは福祉について始めます。Hello, everyone. Um, today's presentation is going to be on fukushi or adverbs and basically how they work in a sentence structure. So what is an adverb? According to Oxford Languages, the dictionary that Google uses, it's a word or phrase that modifies an adjective, verb, or other adverb, or a word group expressing relationship of place, time, degree, circumstance, distance, etc. So things like gently, quite, then and there, they're all English adverbs. And it basically works the same in Japanese. In Japanese, an adverb is a modification to a noun or a verb to further explain the details of them. So, common adverbs in Japanese that you might hear are usually relationship to time. So, things like itsumo, yoku, taite, tokidoki, they're all relationship to like time or like frequency of things. And then sometimes you also hear like takusan or sukoshi in relationship to like amount. And then sometimes if you want to talk about like absolutes, you'll do zenzen or zehi. And then also like if you want to talk about continuously over time or like over a long period, like zutto. Like if you were sitting at home all day, then you could be like zutto ie ni imasu. Like I was at home like all the time, over time. But yeah, so these are some common adverbs in Japanese that kind of pop up. And the one thing to note is that a lot of adverbs, like if you don't know, then you would just kind of like look up what they mean. Because a lot of Japanese adverbs have different words for kind of like the different types of like always or like certainly without fail. So like itsumo and zehi, they're very similar and you could use them, but like they're different circumstances. So like zehi is like without fail, like certainly. And like itsumo is like frequently, like always, like I always do this, stuff like that. You could also turn adjectives into adverbs. So for not adjective, um, the rule is that you add me after the adjective. So if it's something like shizuka, which is like quiet, then shizuka ni is quietly. Like shizuka ni shite kudasai, like please be quiet or like please become quiet. That's one way. Or quietly exist, please, kind of thing. Um, kirei, kirei ni, so something to be beautiful or clean. So like kirei ni shite kudasai. Like please make it clean or please like clean it up kind of thing. So it's kind of like giving you like a descriptor to what the verb is doing. And then for e adjectives, the rule is to change the e to a ku. So it's super simple for like hayai, it's hayaku, which is something we hear a lot like hurry or like quickly, you know. Or then for example, you could use kawaii and then turn into kawaii-ku, so cutely or cute. And then with the kanji, it kind of like makes it easier to see because the e is at the end, and so when you use something like kawaii, there's a lot like two e's at the end, so then you can see that it's actually kawaii and kawaii-ku, so it helps. And the exceptions to this is two of them. It's going to be e and kakoi. So e goes into yoku, like yoku dekimashita, like you did it very well. And then kakoi turns into kakoyoku. Um, and then I personally don't hear kakoyoku a lot, but like obviously it's the descriptor there. So yatte miyo. Let's try some from the worksheet. So the first one, the first example is 日本の自然は一年中美しいがなんちゃら秋は素晴らしい. So um Japan's seasons are beautiful all year round, but something autumn is wonderful. So there's something about that. So then we look at the examples, we see 必ず, ぜひ, 特に, はっきり. And like I said earlier, it's a lot of vocab that you just kind of have to learn. So 必ず and ぜひ both kind of indicate without fail or absolute. So they kind of could work. Tokuni is especially, so a lot of compare and contrast. So that could be kind of work. And then hakiri is, I think, cleanly or like accurately, which is probably not the best word. So in contrast this, because we are comparing and contrasting, or we are giving a general statement and specifying something, we would use actually tokuni. And that's because Japan seasons are beautiful all year round, but autumn is especially wonderful or especially great. So that's how number 1 is. For number 4, 燃えるゴミと燃えないゴミをなんちゃら分けましょう. So we are separating flammable and non-flammable objects, but there's a specific way that we have to do it. So we look at the examples. It's しかり、きちんと、きっと、ぜひ, and so when we look at all of that, we want to do it. We don't want the flammable and non-flammable objects to get mixed, because in realistic circumstances, that might be very bad for the environment or even very bad for a resident. So we want to do it properly. We want to do it like accurately or precisely, which is kichinto. And that's, let's properly do this, or let's do this accurately. All right. In the next example, we're going to be a double. So we got 何は冷蔵庫を買った。何は何を買おうか. So we have 2 of them. And the example for this one is going to be この間 and 今度、先 and それから、やっと、これから、初めて and この頃. So when you're looking at all the examples, we're looking at one sentence. We look at the first one. It's この間 is some time ago. Kondo, next time. So sequence of event, which could work. And then saki is firstly, or not. Saki is a while ago, and then sorekara is and then. Sorekara kind of makes it kind of weird, so it's probably not that. C is yato, which is at last, and korekara, which is from now on. Kind of also weird is that, like, oh, at last I bought it? Probably not. And then hajimete konogoro is firstly and around this time. So I don't think that would really work out. In my opinion, I would say kono aida and kondo. So some time ago, I bought a refrigerator. Next time, what should I buy? I think it's the one that makes the most natural sense of, like, kind of like, if you can spend a lot of money on a refrigerator, then you would want to buy something again. You know, kind of bad spending habits, but you know. Oh, that's not what you're supposed to see. And then the next one is, pretend you didn't see that, but the next one is going to be nani sato o irete, nani shio o irete, or iremasu. So it's going to be following a sequence of events. Specifically using sato and shio, it's kind of talking about like recipes, or like someone's giving instructions like, oh, you got to do this, then you got to do that, you know? So if we're going to be doing that, then obviously you want to be clear on what the order is. So looking at this, hajimari ni, sore kara, hajimete, ato de, saisho ni, to, hajime ni, tsugi ni. Because of tsugi ni, I think it works best to have me D, hajime ni and tsugi ni, just because we're going to be like, firstly, we're going to be putting in sugar, and then next, we're going to put salt in. So it's kind of like following an order. And these are some examples of how you can use adverbs and the way that adverb is being used. So they're modifying, they're talking about circumstances, talking about degree, time, distance, length. And that's kind of ways that adverbs can be used in Japanese. It kind of works the same way as English. 聞いてくれてありがとうございました. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. You learned a lot, and I hope this helps.